Well, hello and welcome back to another video where I ramble on for objectively too long and make zero sense. Welcome back and welcome to day 4 of Witchlands week. This is a week that I'm dedicating solely to doing daily videos about Witchlands by Susan Dennard. In the run-up to the release of Witchshadow, the 4th book in the series, this is one of my favourite book series ever, which is why I'm making just as much noise about it in my corner of the internet as I can. Today what we're going to be doing is a tier ranking of all the different book covers of the books in the series. There's a few variations and I really like book covers. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to go to art school in the first place, whilst even though, you know, now I'm kind of more into animation than I am into illustration. And yeah, if you want to see me just gush about book covers, I did do a Judge a Book by its Cover book tag a few weeks ago, so definitely go check that out. And so I've saved all the book covers and put them into a tier ranking thing. And yeah, we're just gonna do that. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna try and hold this up so you can still see my face. So yeah, so I've got my different tiers. The top one is S is for stunning, and this is just, you know, chef's kiss, beautiful, love the colours, love the design, love the font, A+ book cover. Second one is Van Gogh, so, you know, still solid, absolutely great artwork, but still not quite as up there as, you know, an absolutely stunning, but still, you know, the artistic stuff, the artistic quality is there. Hits the brief but no more, so this is sort of average, you know, they've done their job, they've clocked in their hours, they haven't put in any overtime. It does the job, it advertises the book, but it's not, you know, eye-catchingly amazing. It's Not You, It's Me is just, you know, below average, not really my cup of tea, but I can kind of see what their goal was. And then finally, just plain old meh, which kind of speaks for itself. So first off we've got I think this is the US edition of Windwitch, which is the second book in the series. And honestly, I quite like it, you know, there's not too many different editions of Windwitch, and the sort of the oranges and the leaves and stuff all kind of give kind of autumny, windy vibes and stuff, so I think it's sort of, you know, I think this one hits the brief, but no more, because if I'm being completely honest, I like all the sort of stuff around it, I like the colours, but it's not a huge standout, and the font isn't exactly my favourite. However, then you get to the UK hardback cover of Windwitch, and the font kind of just ups it a little bit. You know, you've got the same person with their cloak, but they're sort of in a forest now, which again, they've really gone for like autumnal vibes for this book cover, which I don't really know why, apart from the fact that just obviously is a way, I suppose, to show wind, is to show leaves moving about. So yeah, I really like the sort of coppery sort of colour of this one. You know, the font is a bit more metallic and stuff, which I do really like. So this one I think I'm going to put in Van Gogh, because just it's just a little bit more artsy. The composition, you know, he's in the middle, but you've got that sort of, he's sort of framed by that tree, and the sort of atmospheric sort of, you can't quite see all the tree trunks, and I just really like how that looks. Okay, so this is the paperback UK version of Windwitch, and honestly this is going, I think, straight in S for stunning. I love the UK paperback versions, like just the monochrome and the fact that you've got like the witch symbol, and it sort of almost looks like a sort of metallic like thing you'd see attached to a wall. I just think they're just so eye-catching, and they're simple, and they're so just, oh, the design just works really well, and as a set they look gorgeous. I love the sort of yellows and the sort of green sort of shadows and stuff they've got going on here. The sort of swirly font, again, love it. It just, and the sort of lighting, you know, you're drawn to the bright, vibrant, like the contrast between the bright sort of light that's shining on this sort of, you know, this bird and this triangle sort of coming down from the top. Your eyes really go straight to that, and it has such an impact. And just the way it then sort of like brings in your, you know, you'll look at that and then you'll look down at the title, like, you know, it just it shows, I'm just gesticulating so much, oh my god. And oh, I love those, so much, but yeah, straight into S's for stunning. Okay, next up is, I think this is possibly the German editions, I'm not 100% sure. And honestly, I like this because, you know, you've got a bit of sort of setting, you've got some mountains, And then you've got a similar thing to what you see on the UK paperback, which is like, you know, almost a sort of metal sort of symbol, and I do quite like it. I like the sort of blue with a sort of pale yellow sort of contrast and stuff, but I'm not sure about this one. If I don't dislike it, but I don't love it. I think hits the brief but no more would perhaps be where I go. You know, still, actually no, I'd say, and the big red sticker on it kind of detracts a bit, so it's not you, it's me. I get it. I really like the design that they've gone for. I do like the sort of, you know, the fact that they've almost combined what the other covers look like with the people and the setting, but then with this sort of metallic symbol, but it's just not doing it for me. Yeah, next up, I don't know what edition this is, but it's monochrome, but not in a good way. Like, it's sort of murky green. Not a big fan of the cover, and I wouldn't really say the title stands out. Like, that font is very basic, and yeah, I think this is going to be our first meh. Like, I get the composition, you know, you've sort of got the sort of person, and he's the dark, and the sort of cloak is going one way, you've got the leaves again, it's again in a forest, but just think in comparison to the other ones, you know, it's not really doing it for me. Okay, next up is the UK hardback for Bloodwitch, I think, and it's a similar cover for the US edition, so that's why we've got the same ones. I think this one has to go in Van Gogh Who, because I do really like just the very dynamic pose you see Edwin in. You've got his cloak flapping behind him, and you've got this sort of swirly dark red stuff around him. It's really dynamic and very, got a lot of rhythm to it, I think, and I just like the way he's posed, and it is very dramatic. And then this bold red title in the sort of swirly font, which again, it just really goes really well. It's very artistic and I like it. And then we've got the UK paperback for Bloodwitch. Am I gonna put it straight into S tier? Because I really like these covers, and as a set I think they're great. Similar things for Windwitch. Just the red and the font and the fact that it's so simple, and this one's even darker as well. Interesting that they've gone with the lighting, because obviously you're following Adrian, who's a bit more of a morally grey character. He's a bit darker, and shit really kicks off in this book, and I think that's really interesting that sort of lighting wise it is this dark murky red sort of colour. It's moody and I like it, so yeah. Okay, next up is this one, and again, I think this is going to have to go straight into, well, I don't know. Again, he's in an interesting pose, but there's not very much colour, it's very grey, and the font's not particularly interesting, and the font's also just white with a bit of a red outline. I think I'm going to have to put that in meh. Not feeling that one at all, you know, he's just standing there, he's not doing anything. What's a Bloodwitch? We don't really know, it's not as, yeah. This one, again, you know, interesting pose. You've got his, you know, huge, you've got his cloak behind him, you've got the red, again with the blue. I'm not sure how I feel about the red with the blue. I'm not sure if that colour combination is working. But it does make an impact, you know, if I saw this I'd be like, ooh, there's a lot going on there, that's some stuff. I think hits the brief but no more would maybe be where I put that one, but again, I'm not sure how I feel about that red on the blue with the green. I'm not sure about that colour combination. I'm not sure about that. Okay, this next one is the hardback US version of Truthwitch, and it's, yeah, so, you know, you've got the blue. I do quite like the sort of composition of this, you know, you've sort of got this sort of blue sort of S shape that she's almost mimicking in her pose, and you've got the clouds and the sea behind her. I don't like the font, like I really don't like that font. Like, yes, it's simple and easy to read, but I do very much like the sort of swirly ones that you see. I think this one's going to have to go and hits the brief but no more, because as well, these covers are kind of iconic, but they do just, it's just a person, and I don't know, I just think she's kind of just standing there posing, whereas the other two, the ones in Van Gogh Who, kind of have a bit more drama to the way they're posed, and she's kind of just standing there. And I do like the sort of S curve sort of shape. You've got the sort of, it's kind of busier on the left than it is on the right, like it's well balanced, so, you know, it does hit the brief and they have done their work. Next up is the Chinese version of Truthwitch, which is basically the same as the first one, but they've moved the font down and they've saturated the colours. And I do quite like the sort of almost oversaturated colours to it. I don't know why. I don't know if it's maybe just the way it looks on my screen. But I do think that's quite interestingly done, and the fact that they've got a lot more text on it, but it still doesn't look overcrowded. However, the font they've used is not my favourite. So I might have, and you know, the blue and the yellow kind of, but even the blue and the yellow kind of contrast, you know, that does work. So, it does sort of give a bit more of an artsy feel to it. I feel like I need another. Okay, I'm gonna put it in Van Gogh, but like bottom of Van Gogh, so like. Nah, actually, I think. I don't know where to put this one. I feel like I need a tier in between Hits the Brief But No More and Van Gogh because... Okay, and actually I'm going to put it at the top of Hits the Brief But No More. Actually no, I'm going to put it underneath Windwitch, below those other two, because like I like the oversaturatedness of it. Like it does kind of have a bit of impact by doing that. And then again you've got the Chinese version of Windwitch. But this one I will actually put, I think, at the top of Hits the Brief But No More. Because... You know, I said that I don't like the font, it's quite small, but again, you know, they're kind of actually going to be advertising the stuff on the top because it is the Chinese version. But I do like the oversaturated, you know, it really adds to the oranges and the reds and stuff. And actually, no, I'm going to put this at the bottom of Van Gogh. I just love the colours, and the fact that they've just turned up the saturation on them a little bit more kind of brings up what I thought was a bit drab about the other Windwitch cover at the top of the Hits the Brief But No More category. Next up is the Sightwitch cover. This is the, I think, just the original cover for Sightwitch. There's not too many editions of Sightwitch. I like it. You know, it's Ryber, we see the Rook as well. She's standing in front of one of the doorways, which if you've read Sightwitch, you'll know what that's all about. I like the sort of glowing green with then the sort of almost brown kind of colours. I do think that's an interesting colour choice, and it's framed her really well. She's posed quite interestingly. Like, I do quite like it. I think I'm going to have to put it at the top of Hits the Brief But No More, because again I don't like that font, and but it's not quite at the level of the ones in Van Gogh. Sightwitch, however, the next one definitely is going at the bottom of Van Gogh. I think it's interesting that they've got the same font for Sightwitch but then changed it to green. I think that's interesting. I really like the way she's posed in this. Similar pose with the arm out and the bird on it, but you know, she's off to one side. You know, if you do sort of that sort of rule of thirds thing on it, that puts her face at the focal point, it puts the Rook at the focal point. Like, I think that's just interestingly done. She's sort of on one side and they've got that balance of the things happening on the right side and the things happening on her side. I love the lighting and just the way it sort of draws your attention to both her face and the Rook. I think it's just done really well. And yeah, I just think there's a little bit more thoughts, kind of, you know, a different thought process has gone into that one, and it's one that I personally like a bit more. This is the UK hardback for Truthwitch, and I like the way she's posed. I'm not sure how I feel about that colour of yellow with that blue, because yellow and blue is a really good combination, like gold and blue especially, like some fantastic books. If you do watch my book covers book tag video, you'll hear me go on about that. But I'm not sure how I feel about this sort of saturated dark yellow orangey type colour. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it, and especially in the, but you know, again, I like the way she's framed by the wave and how that's sort of curling around her, and it's darker on one side and lighter on the other. Like I'm not sure how I feel about it. I really don't like that yellow. Yeah, you know what? It's going at the top of It's Not You, It's Me. Because... Actually, no, it's going to go into the German edition. Because I like the framing and I like the composition, but the colours really aren't doing it for me. You know where this one's going. Straight in S for Stunning. This is the copy of Truthwitch that I own. It's just out on loan to a friend at the moment. The blue, the sort of S shape, the Ether Witch symbol, you know, the same stuff I said earlier about the way it's lit and the way it really draws your attention. It's simple and it's impactful and the monochrome's beautiful and this turquoisey blue colour's just gorgeous. Like, I love the paperback editions so much. Okay, next up is this version of Truthwitch, and I like it. You know, similar as for the Windwitch one, but I think I like this one more because it's sort of got that sort of monochrome green kind of going for it. Because, yeah, and you know, it's got that sort of triangle and it's sort of framed by the light. So you've got that red thing on it again, but you know, we'll let them off. Yeah, I do think it's interesting. I think I will put it sort of between these two, because I think I like it more than the Chinese version of Truthwitch, but not as much as the American Windwitch cover. Next up, this is one of my favourites actually, because this is like the only one that's really different from the rest of them. It's this inky version. I love the purple and the sort of red pink colour. It's really artistic. I love this cover. I wish that I don't think they've done this for any of the other books in the series. It's a shame because I really like this style. I think it's just so different from all the other ones. Literally every other cover has someone or that symbol, whereas this has got both Safi and Azult on the cover and has gone for just that sort of inky artistic style. So I think I'm going to go with, it's going to go in Van Gogh Who. I think I'm going to put it about there, because I don't like it as much as I love the sort of hardback editions of Windwitch and Bloodwitch. I do like it more than these two. And yeah, it's such an interesting cover, and I kind of wish that they had continued with that style for these editions. Next up is another Truthwitch cover, so it follows the same sort of thing, but I like that they've got this ship. She's posed quite differently from the rest of them, and the blue's working, the blue and the green working again, and she's sort of framed by the ship and the mountain in the background. Like, it's an interesting composition, but it is giving me big sort of like Throne of Glass vibes, which automatically bring it down for me, because like I don't like Throne of Glass. Like the bad cover of Throne of Glass, not the good covers of Throne of Glass. I do like the Throne of Glass covers. But yeah, I feel like it's almost giving her, I don't know. I'm just not the biggest fan of this one in particular, so it's gonna go in It's Not You, It's Me. Because that one really just does start to feel like personal preference. But again, at the same time, there's not much going for it. It's like they've just slapped on a person and then they've got, okay, shit, mountain, right, that's all we're doing. Like, yeah, it could be more interesting. Right, we've got 4 more to go. So this next one, I'm not really feeling. It's quite bland. The only sort of colour is that sort of muted pink. But at the same time, like, you know, it's dramatic. You know, you've got this incredibly dramatic sky and the sea around her. Like, I get it. I do get it. Like, it does sort of have quite an impact. And if I saw that, I would be like, oh, what's that about? But at the same time, you know, I do like a good bit of colour in my books. So, do I put it in Meh or It's Not You, It's Me? I think I'm going to put it at the bottom of It's Not You, It's Me, because they haven't really done much with the colour. And I feel like if you're not going to do colour, then just go for like maybe black and white, because then that would have such an impact. Whereas this just feels a bit too muted and I'm not really here for it. Then you've got the US, I think this is another US edition of Truthwitch. I don't know how I feel about this one. I don't like the way she's posed, I don't like what she's wearing, I don't like the red and that colour of blue. I think I'm going to put this in Meh. But it's not as bad as the other two, so I think I'll go at the top of Meh. I like the drama of the sky behind her, but yeah, of all the sort of Truthwitch covers, I think that's not really my favourite, to be honest. It's just not the biggest fan. Okay, and then you've got Windwitch. Again, I think this might be another US edition, like the newer US editions that match this cover of Sightwitch and this cover of Truthwitch. So you've got Merrick fucking yeeting himself off of somewhere. I like the way he's posed. I do quite like that sort of, the way the sort of top half's sort of the sky and the bottom half's the sea, and you've got that dark light balance, so it doesn't, you know, he's on the light side and then the font is against the dark half, so it kind of balances that out really well. And the way he's sort of posed, you sort of follow him around a bit and sort of, yeah, I do like the composition of this. And I do like the sort of dramatic sky. I think I'm going to put it in Hits the Brief But No More. And put it at the top, or... No, because I like that cover of Windwitch more. I think I'm going to put it there. Because, actually no, there. That's better. And last but not least, this is another Windwitch cover. It's going straight in meh. I think I like it a little more than that. You know, that's grey and brown. He's just standing there. There's some rain. The font almost blends, the title almost blends in. Like, just, it's really not doing it for me. Really not doing it for me. Hello, it's another day, and I forgot to do the Witchshadow covers when I initially did this, so I'm just gonna pop that in here. So this first one is the purple and yellow. This is the American hardcover. I love the way Isolde is posed here. Like, that pose is really cool. It flows down the page. It's really sort of eye-catching. She looks gorgeous, and the sort of dramatic sky behind her, just, oh, I absolutely love it. It's so pretty. The purple and yellow as well is working really well, you know, that complementary colour scheme, we love to see it. And yeah, I just really like the composition of this one, but I don't like the fact that I do not like the fact that the font is sort of like halfway up the page. It's kind of covering her a little bit, and and as I've already said, I don't like that font specifically, so we're gonna put this, I think I'm gonna put this in Van Gogh Who, because it is really artistic, and I do like the way she's posed. I like the sort of light at the top and it's sort of darker at the bottom. I like that balance you've got going on. Yeah, but I don't like where they put the font, and it is a sort of weird kind of yellow colour, but again, the yellow and the purple's working. But I think I'm going to put it below that that sort of German cover. It's really artsy, but above the Chinese version of Windwitch, because yeah, I do like this one. Next up is the UK edition of Witchshadow, and this is going straight at the top of S for Stunning. Oh my god, I love this. The blue, the gold. You can see more of Isolde in the way she's posed. She's sort of almost surrounded by a white light, and then you've got that really vibrant blue. Oh, I love it. I think unfortunately I'm getting the US edition because I've ordered a beacon box so I can get all this shit with it. I think it's going to be the US edition, which I'm kind of upset with myself about because the UK cover is beautiful. I might just buy it as well though, because this is my favourite series, and you know, might as well have multiple copies because I love it. But yeah, straight in S for Stunning, composition, they've moved the text down, it's back in the swirly font that I like, and the blue is my favourite. So yeah, here is the final ranking as decided by me. Obviously this is completely subjective, and I will leave a link to this tier ranking if you want to do this yourself, if you're a huge fan of Witchlands like me and you want to rank all the covers. I'm fairly sure this is all of the covers. One of them might be a fan-made cover. I wasn't sure if I accidentally picked up one of those in my search, so apologies if I have insulted someone's fan art. But yeah, what do you think of my ranking? Do you agree with me? What are your favourite covers here? Please let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. And if you ever do decide to do this tier ranking thing, please let me know, I'd love to see your opinions on these same book covers. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. As I said, I'm doing videos every single day for Witchlands Week, so feel free to go check out everything else I've done so far. But other than that, I will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching.